I'll never forget this. Living in a monastery in 1878, Philadelphia. I get a call one night from some very wealthy friends in New York City. Brennan, you want to come up next week to go to a play on Broadway? Then we'll have a late dinner at Sardi's. I said, great. Up we go. And after the first act, we're out in the street for the intermission. The husbands, in their dinner jackets, get into a dense discussion with their bejeweled evening gown wives on the influence of the German philosopher Schopenhauer on Samuel Beckett's Theater of the Absurd. Well, he asked me what I thought. And I was about to deliver an observation so profound that it would have ended the discussion for at least 200 years when a woman come along the side of the building, not one of the beautiful people, cab driver's cap, double-breasted man's suit coat with the pockets ripped out, got holes in her nylons, she's wearing tennis shoes, sneakers, and she's peddling Variety newspaper, the showbiz newspaper, which in those days cost 75 cents. So in a great gesture of Christian generosity, I reach in my pocket, I hand her $1, I wave her away, and go back to my wealthy friends who are breathlessly awaiting my next remark. When the woman asks, Father, see, in those days, I always wore the clerical collar. Always. I knew I couldn't distinguish myself by my virtues, so I distinguished myself by my clothing. I wore that clerical collar taking a shower, under my pajamas when I went to bed. And I love all these, oh, here comes the good Father Brennan. Well, the woman asked, Father, could I talk to you for a minute? I turned around and snapped, can't you see I'm busy? Do you make a habit of this? Interrupting people in the middle of a conversation? You know that's really rude. Wait over there by the wall, be over when I'm done. And I went back to my wealthy friends when ever so softly that woman said, Jesus wouldn't have talked to Mary Magdalene like that. I turned around. She was gone. I looked up the street, down the street. She disappeared. Then the magnitude of what I'd done hit me like a ton of bricks. I treated the woman like a thing, like a vending machine, put $1 in her hand, out pops a newspaper. No appreciation at all for the little service that she was performing. No interest whatsoever in the little drama of her daily doings. I was so caught up with trying to impress my wealthy friends with how smart I am, how aesthetically bright I am, I barely saw the woman. If she had a negative self-image when she approached me, it was worse when she left. And just suppose she came to church on Sunday, and there's Brennan Manning up at the podium, exhorting her to believe that God loves her unconditionally as she is and not as she should be. What hypocrisy! That night outside the Schubert Theater, I undermined her ability to believe that anybody could love her. How can she believe in the love of a God she can't see when she couldn't find love in the eyes of a brother wearing a clerical collar whom she could see? A shriveled humanity has a shrunken capacity for receiving the rays of God's love. If I'm going to feel myself as treasure, you have to treat me like treasure. Or your loud protestations of the love of God for me will fall on deaf ears.